Another shakeup for the Scottsbluff County Tourism Board and how it will handle funding requests. KNEB.TV News starts right now.
From your trusted source for news in western Nebraska and eastern Wyoming, this is KNEB.TV News. Presented by Platte Valley Companies, premier provider of financial services.
Hello, I'm Ryan Murphy. This is KNEB.TV News powered by Platte Valley Companies. Thanks for joining me. In our top story, more changes have come about for the Scottsbluff County Tourism Board and how it will approach requests for funding. The county board recently approved a change in which the Tourism Committee would meet quarterly in January, April, July, and October instead of monthly. Tourism Director Brenda Licey told the board the change would match up with the new grant cycle, which will only be twice a year in April and October.
We don't hear the grant applications on a monthly basis anymore, and that's primarily what our meeting time is saved for. Usually in probably December and January, we don't have as many of those. So that's when we do a lot of board training and, just to keep them up to date on different bylaws, different things going on.
Commissioner Charlie Knapper recently discussed a recent change with his fellow commissioners. He explained why the change.
Right now there's a lot of dinking and dunking is what I call it, and a lot of $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 grants, and we if we can pare those back and get larger grant requests of $100,000, $200,000, $300,000 requests, we might be able to move the needle a little faster or more meaningful with the awards of the tourism funds.
This change would not only match up with the new grant cycle, but also give tourism committee members more training and networking opportunities. Well, Nebraska's conservative leaders took part in a statewide fly-around tour ahead of Election Day, featuring all 5 of the state's federal delegation, plus a number of state officials. The tour kicked off in Scottsbluff in the airport conference room this morning and included U.S. Senators Deb Fischer and Pete Ricketts, Congressmen Adrian Smith and Mike Flood, along with Governor Jim Pillen. Additional stops during the day included Alliance, North Platte, and Broken Bow. Other cities will be involved in fly-around stops on Sunday in eastern Nebraska and in the center of the state next Monday. And the CDC has awarded the University of Nebraska Medical Center one of 10 regional centers for public health preparedness and response across the nation. These regional centers will play an essential role over the next 5 years in advancing the uptake of evidence-based strategies and interventions across communities, enhancing their ability to prepare for and respond to public health threats. UNMC will administer the Center for DHHS Region 7, including Nebraska, Iowa, Kansas, and Missouri. The center will work with a coalition of regional partners, including the University of Iowa and the University of Iowa College of Public Health. We'll have more news right after this.
Looking for free instead of fees? Platte Valley Bank can help you keep your finances moving forward with no ATM fees. Whether you're headed to the lake, the mountains, or just to the grocery store, you can enjoy the freedom of free ATM access anywhere, anytime. Platte Valley Bank. You belong here.
When it comes to your health, you deserve the very best. At Morrill County Community Hospital, they provide top-notch care with compassion and expertise. From routine checkups to advanced surgeries, their dedicated team is here for you 24/7. With state-of-the-art technology and a patient-first approach, they ensure you and your loved ones receive the highest quality care. Because at Morrill County Community Hospital, your health is their priority. Visit Morrill County Community Hospital today in Bridgeport. Morrill County Community Hospital. Exceptional care right here at home.
Welcome to Kelly's Liquor, your liquor cabinet. Whether you're a wine enthusiast, a whiskey sommelier, a tequila connoisseur, or you just love your beer, Kelly's has the best selection of what you're looking for. Family owned and operated since 1946 and right on 27th Street in Scottsbluff. Come see us today at Kelly's Liquor, your liquor cabinet. And remember to be a good neighbor. Don't drink and drive. Kelly's Liquor, West 27th Street in Scottsbluff.
Now the latest from the Scottsbluff Body and Paint Sports Desk. Scottsbluff Body and Paint, you're driving home our reputation.
Earlier this week featured the 2024 D1 12 Volleyball Sub-District Championship featuring Morrill and Potter Dix. The Potter Dix Coyotes rallied in the fifth set to defeat the Morrill Lions 16-14 to punch their ticket to a D1 district final. KNB's Trayton Harmon has the video highlights from this epic matchup.
Fly United Airlines, operated by SkyWest with Western Nebraska Regional Airport. United is dedicated to going the extra mile for you with daily flights to and from Denver, along with a commitment to excellent service. Reserve your flight today, and remember, United miles can be earned and redeemed with your flights. While at the airport, stop and enjoy authentic Italian food at Roma Italian Restaurant. Plus, Hertz Thrifty Car Rental is there for your car rental needs. Make life easier, relax, and get on board with Western Nebraska Regional Airport.
I imagined retirement in a place where we could enjoy our golden years, where adventure and friendship are the only items on the schedule. The Garden Homes at Northfield gives us the luxury we planned for and peace of mind when it comes to convenience, safety, and comfort. We never have to stop and think about the day-to-day upkeep. We love to explore abroad, but most importantly in our backyard. So much to do, so much to see. Here at Northfield, we get the protection of life care, incredible tax benefits, and secured rates for aging services. It's peaceful, knowing that if our needs change, we'll be taken care of. And most importantly, that our kids will never have to make any tough decisions. There never seemed to be enough time to do all the things we wanted. Now we get to focus our energy on enjoying what this community has to offer. At the Garden Homes, Life is ours again. A place we had dreamed about. A chance to focus on us.
Renewal by Anderson has done it again. Their incredible Black Friday event is back, and it's better than ever. But don't wait. Call and book today. Do not miss this one. You get 20% off every window, plus a Visa gift card for up to $2,000 right before Christmas. No money down, no interest, no payments for 18 months. Don't pay a dime until 2026. Call today. Act fast. This incredible offer only runs from November 15th through December 14th. Do not wait. Book your free estimate right now at rbawyoming.com.
It's time for Husker Chat. I'm Jason Jorgensen. It's brought to you by Acres Equipment. We're joined by Sean Callahan of Husker Online as Nebraska's coming off that impressive loss, if you will, moral victory in Columbus. Sean told us last week not to fear that the Huskers would show up and make it a game, and they certainly did. You saw a great football game on Saturday.
Yeah, this team, the Indiana game was so hard to understand because I didn't think this team really was going to have moments like that this year because of their defense. And we saw right away, especially with a healthier Jamari Butler and MJ Sherman together on the edge, that gave this defense even a different look. When you had MJ Sherman, Butler on the edge, Ty Robinson, Nash Hutmacher, all playing at that level up front. I mean, they were better than Ohio State. I mean, they controlled the line of scrimmage to the point where the only third down that Ohio State converted the entire game was a QB sneak where there was actually a false start made by the left tackle that wasn't called. So they dominated up front. And when you play like that, I mean, go back to 2009 Nebraska, you're going to play with a lot of good teams. Unfortunately, Nebraska just wasn't able to kind of find their groove on offense against a very good Buckeye defense.
Missed opportunities, it seemed to me, that the Huskers made some breaks and did a great job of bouncing back. But if you get a chance like that in a big game on the road against somebody good, I always say you always got to make it hurt. And Nebraska didn't always do that.
Yeah, and you got to get touchdowns. You got to score when you get those opportunities. I mean, like Malcolm Hartsock, if he could have scored a touchdown, that might have been a big difference. And the momentum at that point to take the lead on that play and then kick it off to Ohio State down. And granted, they got the ball back and scored on the next possession, but there were just a lot of moments. And, the officiating, as we know, there were some inconsistencies in the game, and those moments mattered in the end. But Ohio State still has very good players on defense, and they made it hard. I mean, Nebraska just was not able to find a play when it really mattered down the stretch.
What do you make of when the league comes back and says, oh, we missed one, we're sorry? To me, it'd almost be better off just to not say anything. I mean, it doesn't change the outcome of the game.
I think the evidence, though, was so damning with the videos that kind of came out after the game of that mistake, particularly, that if they didn't say something and recognize the wrong that was made by their paid professionals to call the game, I think they would take a hit in their credibility. So I do think for the Big Ten, it made some sense to say this. And there's just enough evidence out there now that it was a clear miss on the spotting of the football. It's hard to go back on holding calls and pass interference situations because those are subjective opinion calls, but spotting the football is not. Yeah. And when you misspot a ball by that much, a couple of times really, but one that really, they identified, that is a big deal.
I went back and watched the game after the fact. Were you surprised maybe Nebraska didn't challenge that spot at the time?
Under 2 minutes and a half, that was my understanding. When it's under 2 after the 2-minute warning, the booth is who can challenge at that point. So that had to have been a booth challenge, I believe. Now, Matt Rule could have used his timeout, and then, that could have maybe helped get the challenge. So there's a lot of things that you could have done there, but it's my understanding your challenges under 2 minutes aren't allowed to be used.
Today on Husker Chat, we're talking with Sean Callahan. It's brought to you by Acres Equipment. So Nebraska with that tight loss at Ohio State. Sean, now they turn around and play UCLA. Not that they have been great, but when I've seen them play a little bit this year, they're not bad, and they have found a way to hang around with some people.
Yeah, they're a deceiving 2-5 team when you look at them on paper. They beat Hawaii and they've beaten Rutgers. But they easily could have won a lot of other games on their schedule. They had Minnesota beat. And Minnesota's playing good football right now. Minnesota had to score late to beat them in the last minute of the game. So this is a team that, like every Big Ten team, has a lot of depth and players that can make plays. And, they retained most of the roster from last year. That was one of the reasons why Deshaun Foster was hired as the coach after Chip Kelly left to go to Ohio State. By keeping Foster as the coach, it did keep a lot of that roster from a year ago in place there in Pasadena.
What's a storyline you're really keeping an eye on in Saturday's game?
Oh, just if it can carry over for Nebraska, like can they actually play to that level no matter who the opponent is? You don't want it to be they rose up because it was Ohio State. Where Indiana, why could they not meet that level of play against the Hoosiers? Or are the Hoosiers just that good? So I want to see how Nebraska comes out. I would like to see the defense, though, get some early stops in this game, kind of set the tone, and then go from there.
I think a lot of people are enthused by this. If that Nebraska team that we saw on Saturday shows up the rest of the year, this could be a nice finish.
Yeah, you've got a year ago they were 5-3 at the same point, and they were underdogs in 2 games and favorites in 2. But the spreads were Iowa by Nebraska favored by 1, and then they were favored by 3 at Michigan State. They were underdogs to Maryland. They were underdogs to Wisconsin, slight underdogs. I look at this last month; it's going to be almost identical as a year ago. They're a touchdown favorite going into this game with a great chance at home. Iowa is going to be a real tight margin, as we know. USC probably is going to be a tighter margin. I could see Nebraska, though, still being an underdog on the road. And then Wisconsin, that's probably going to be the slimmest of point spreads, too. So it's really wild when you think about the Final Four, because Nebraska could win them all. They could easily lose them all. But you'd like to see at least 2 or 3 wins out of this team down the stretch, and I think it would really erase that Indiana game particularly.
Sure would. Sean, as always, we appreciate the time. Have a great week.
Hey, thanks, Jason.
That was Sean Callahan of Husker Online joining us for Husker Chat. We are here every week, and it's brought to you by Acres Equipment. I'm Jason Jorgensen.
You deserve to have a building that will last for generations. With more than 110 years of experience and thousands of satisfied customers, Morton Buildings is the industry leader you can trust. If you're planning for a garage, farm shop, horse barn, storage building for your RV, boat, or collectibles, there's no better time to buy. Contact your local Morton sales office or visit mortonbuildings.com to get started today.
The community calendar is brought to you by Riverstone Bank. We're local and we love our community.
Tri-City Stormwater presents Stormwater 101, an illicit discharge.
Tired of feeling stuck? Not sure if you are on the right track? Platte Valley Bank can help keep your finances moving forward with checking account options to fit your lifestyle and an online account chooser to make finding the right account easy. Control your financial future with helpful budgeting tools and automatic savings plans. Now is the time to enjoy the ride with Platte Valley Bank. You belong here.
And finally tonight, daylight saving time ends early Sunday, and the American Red Cross encourages everybody to test their smoke alarms as they turn their clocks back to make sure the devices are working. Over the past few years, local Red Cross volunteers responded to help more than 700 people in Nebraska affected by more than 200 home fires. Red Cross of Nebraska spokesman Josh Murray says every second counts when there's a fire in the home, and working smoke alarms cut the risk of dying in a house fire in half, as you only have about 2 minutes to safely get out. Residential fires account for most of the 65,000 disasters that the Red Cross responds to annually across the country. Well, that does it for us this time. Thank you so much for tuning in. Have a great weekend. We'll see you back here on Monday.